Today's session, the important three, covering applications, resumes, and interviewing. We'll take a look at applications. Most employers will ask you to complete an application form or online. Be sure to read the directions carefully, print neatly, and fill in all the blanks if filling out a paper application. Go prepared to provide the following information. Having it all together on a one-pager or an index card may be helpful. Address and telephone number where you can be contacted, names, address, and telephone numbers of previous employers, list of school programs and special skills or achievements which help you qualify for the position. Be sure to have names, address, and telephone numbers of at least 3 references. Your driver's license. Some applications form may include questions or statements about alcohol and drug use. You may want to inquire about the company drug testing policies also. Apply only if you meet the qualifications stated by the employer or if you have strong substitute qualifications. Let's take a look at different resumes and functions. We'll discuss the overview, developing a career objective, the chronological resume, the functional resume, and the electronic resume. The resume is a selling tool that outlines your skills and experiences so an employer can see at a glance how you can contribute to the employer's workplace. Your resume has to sell you in short order. While you may have all the requirements for a particular position, your resume is a failure if the employer does not instantly come to the conclusion that you have what it takes. The first hurdle your resume has to pass, whether it ends up in the consideration file or the reject file, may take less than 30 seconds. Most effective resumes are clearly focused on a specific job title and address the employer's stated requirements for the position. The more you know about the duties and the skills required for the job and organize your resume around these points, the more effective your resume. You will need information to write a good resume, not just information about the jobs you've had in the past, but also information to select the most relevant accomplishments, skills, and experience for this position. The more you know about the employer and the position, the more you can tailor your resume to fit the job. References are usually left off resumes unless you're instructed to include them. Have references available on another typed sheet of paper for the interview. At least 3 people, not relatives, that have recognized your skills, accomplishments, and personal qualities. References furnished upon request is no longer necessary at the bottom of a resume. It may be eliminated, especially if space is needed for pertinent information. There are different resume formats. Not one resume format or style is appropriate for all job seekers. Select the style and format which best markets and sells your skills and qualifications to the most employers. Begin with your career objective. Always include a cover letter with the resume. Be sure to remember there are different resume formats. Not one resume format or style is appropriate for all job seekers. Select the style and format which best markets and sells your skills and qualifications to the most employers. Be sure to begin with your career objective when starting your resume. By trying to keep many career options open and not using an objective, job seekers may give the message to employers that they are not focused, do not have any goals, and have diminished the possibility of being called for an interview. Be sure to have a resume word list, such as action verbs, skill verbs, and adaptive skill words. These all describe your skills and traits. The Chronicle resume emphasizes work experience. It is the preferred style of resumes by employers because it enables them to quickly match your previous work experience to their immediate needs. Use action verbs to start each phrase or sentence. Use lists preceded with bullets for easier reading. If you have completed a relevant course or received a diploma or degree in the last 3 to 5 years, it can go at the top of the resume. Otherwise, education should be listed at the bottom. Keep the length of your resume to 1 page. Chew at a maximum. If you use a second page, be sure to type your name on the top of the second page. The functional resume organizes your experience by areas of skills, avoiding a strict reliance on chronology. Functional titles or skill clusters are used to organize your skills from various places of employment, volunteer, or educational experiences. The functional resume is an excellent tool for career changers, job seekers, re-entering the job market after a period of not working, and for students finishing a degree or program area which qualifies them for work differing from their previous employment. The electronic resume will be read or scanned by a computer and placed in a database. The format may be chronological or functional. It must contain keywords and a keyword summary. Keywords are nouns that state your job title, duties, and accomplishments. The keyword summary should contain the targeted job title and alternative labels, as well as previous job titles, skills, software programs, and language known to the particular industry, profession, or occupation. It is important to note the resume will be read by a computer first and a human second. If it does not contain the keywords the employer has requested the computer to search, it will not be seen by a human hiring professional. Choose the most likely keywords and arrange them in an appropriate order. Use the typeface most easily read by a computer, such as Times Courier, and a font size between 10 to 14 points. Avoid italics, script, underlying graphics, shading, boxing, vertical and horizontal lines or columns. The computer can have difficulty reading these. Bold type and solid bullets are okay. Use smooth white paper, usually 8.5 by 11, black ink with laser quality print. Use abbreviations carefully. Avoid stapling or folding the resume and cover letter. Words in the fold may not be scanned correctly. And be sure to provide sufficient white space. Here are a few more tips. Invest in resume paper and envelopes. Fold your resume properly, and only fax a black and white printed original. Let's take a look at interviews. Looking at interviews, we'll want to look at the preparation, interview types, good impressions, common questions, asking questions, and common mistakes. Here are a few things to remember about job interviewing skills and keeping a checklist. I can list 5 things about myself that makes me a good candidate for this job. I can discuss in detail each item on my resume or job application. I can list the skills or experience that qualifies me for the job. I have training or education that qualifies me for this job. I have hobbies or activities that might help me qualify for this job. And I can write down my employment history with accurate names, address, dates of each job if applicable. Here are some helpful things to remember for interviewing skills. If I am asked for personal references, I have the names and telephone numbers of 3 individuals who have agreed to be my references. I have documents needed for the interview, such as Social Security card and driver's license. I am dressed properly for the job I am applying for. I have directions and have made transportation arrangements so I can get to the interview on time. And I also have prepared some questions to ask the interviewer. There are many types of interviews, such as screening, informational, meandering, stress interview, behavioral interview, audition, group interview, tag team interview, and also follow-up interviews. Good impressions are key during the interview process. A few things to remember is always be on time, be positive, and try to be relaxed during the interview. Good impressions during the interview: show self-confidence, listen, reflect, ask questions, and show that you really want the job. After the interview, end the interview with a handshake and say thank you. Send a thank you note. Follow up with a phone call if you are not contacted within a week or when the interviewer indicated you would be. Here are some common questions that you may be asked during the interview. Tell me why you feel you're qualified for this job. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? What do you feel is your greatest strength? What training have you received? Here are a few things to remember when asking questions. Identify which questions to always ask at an interview. Use questions to demonstrate eagerness to get the job started. Choose questions that confirm capability for a job. And also, questions that show your vision. Try to avoid these common mistakes, such as arriving late for an interview, poor nonverbal communication, failure to listen actively, talking too much, or appearing desperate. In summary, read and complete applications completely, prepare a resume, practice interviewing, and now go out and get that job. Thank you and have a wonderful day.